What's going on, everybody? Welcome. It is Thursday. It's July 7th, 2022, 7722. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first show. Good morning, Stacy. Good morning, Mark. Good morning to all the rest of you, whether you're watching live, later, or listen. Thank you for coming by. How are you? How was your Wednesday? I want to know. I want you to tell me in the chat how your Wednesday was, what you did, what were the highs. If you want support on some of the lows, tell us about those. I cranked through a bunch of work. Things went well. I thought I was going to have to leave and go elsewhere and reset my brain so I could get through email. I got through most of my email. It was kind of ridiculous. There was a lot of email after the weekend. Long weekend. I took most of Friday off. Tuesday was a recording day. I was looking at so much email. A bunch of you got email back from me because you sent me email. I finished the day and went, oh, okay. We're almost there. We're almost there. There's some stuff that I got to do, but far less daunting than it was yesterday morning. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Gad. Oh, went to the gym, pet a dog. Made a kind of, I did make a kind of a lame dinner, but I had a salad, and that salad was made entirely of things that I pulled out of the garden. I got radishes. I found 3 radishes. I ate them all. They were delicious. You know, it's interesting to me. There are, well, let's take the example of food. There are foods that people don't like, but if they have them fresh, they're a completely different experience. Radishes are one of those. You know, the one that really opened my eyes to that? Potatoes. Potatoes are fine. Potatoes are good. We usually fry them and season them and cover them with all sorts of things. You know what's far better than that? Fresh potatoes that you just dig out of the ground and you slice thin and pan fry in some butter. Will blow your socks off. That's why I grow potatoes, because they're super duper tasty. Good morning, Dennis and Nathan. And Jenny says, Wednesday was amazing for me. I had a high school friend over for dinner, and we killed a bottle of wine. It was much needed for my soul, and she said it was just as needed for her. Oh, that's awesome. So glad you can make that happen. Stacy says, so excited for the arrival of fresh peas in the shell, new CPAP material, so I actually got some sleep. That's awesome. She adds on, raw peas, freshly shelled, are as good as raw cookie dough. Fight me. Fresh food right out of the garden. It's incredible. And this is part of why I garden, because I can just go out and grab things and put them in a bowl. There was bok choy, there was kale, radishes, the greens from the radishes, because most of your root vegetables, you can eat the greens. A little bit of comfrey, some herbs that are kicking around, and I just chopped everything and kind of mixed it up and put a little bit of salad dressing on top. I don't always do salad dressing, but this being almost entirely greens, it needed something in contrast. And what else? Oh, had some lumber delivered for more raised beds, because that's what I do now. I'm a farmer. Not really. And they're just thinking about where some of them are going, because they're starting to go in non-traditional places to make use of my landscape. And just taking a look. Won't be doing any of that today. Maybe do some over the weekend. We'll see. So what about today? What are you doing today? Today I've got work, taking a break kind of in the middle to go let a friend's dog out. 2 meetings. Probably one. I might skip. I'm probably going to skip one of those meetings. I don't want to go. It's an online meeting. Yeah, I got some reports I got to do for some clients. Yeah, things I will be honest. When I looked at coming into this week with Monday off and then Tuesday being a recording day, I said there I am going to be so far behind. I was preemptively stressed. Nope, doing okay. We're doing all right. Oh, I sent out a couple orders. A couple people bought gear. Now, it is Thursday, and Thursday does mean, let me pour some more coffee. Coffee came out perfect. Thursday does mean another episode of Martial Arts Radio. Let's see what's going on here. We got to switch accounts, and we switch accounts, and we switch over to whistlekick account. Look at the wonderful still that YouTube is showing me of me. That's me. It's like, That's funny. Episode 725. Which Andrew and I made about what? It's about, I don't know. There's an episode today. It'll go live soon. In fact, it may already be live in your podcast. Oh, let's take a look at the podcast player. Do you enjoy these behind the scenes? Oh, I also updated the family page and Patreon yesterday. Let's take a look. Are you going to update? It's telling me no. Come on. Come on. This is so real. Nope, I got nothing. Anyway, there's an episode. I can't tell you what it's about, but you can watch it or listen to it later. Andrew's coming by on Tuesday. We're going to record some more because we have so many. We're like 6-7 weeks out. We have a great buffer on Monday shows, on interviews. We're going to do some more Thursday shows on Tuesday. So if you have a topic you want us to cover, let me know. If you want to contribute something for the live Q&A, reach out to Andrew. If you don't know how to get a hold of Andrew, you can reach out to me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. His email address is andrew@whistlekickmartialartsradio.com. And yeah, we're going to do that. Oh, so one other thing that happened yesterday that made me really excited. Many of you know that I've been on this journey since, I don't know, last fall, trying to come up with, holy crap, has it been that long? Yeah. Trying to come up with a space to start a martial arts school. I'm ready to go. Like I'm committed, I'll do it, and striking out on where to go. And there's somebody that I'm working with on this concept and was replying to her last email. You know, we're both getting really frustrated about this because I'm not coming up with anything. And I thought, you know, there's this space that would be a good space, but it's a retail space, so it's going to be way more expensive than I want to pay for. And it's going to take way too long to build up. And that's stressful, right? Building a business that is losing money, that you go into it knowing it's going to lose money for a while. It's stressful. But I said, you know, what if we brought in other people that were doing fitnessy type things? What if we found some yoga people? And I went, wait a second. I don't even know if there are gyms in this area. It's a small town we're talking about. And gyms in a very small town don't tend to be right on the main street. So I did a little bit of Googling and I found 2 possible locations. One of them looks great. Beautiful hardwood floors. Classes only run until like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. So just going to check with her, her name's Corey, and just say, hey, do you know anything about these people? Are these people cool? And if they are, I'll approach them and be like, hey, I want to give you money and bring people into your space. It's a pretty good deal. Good morning, Brian. So fingers crossed, maybe we'll get this going. I don't know. I don't think there's anything else to tell you. I think that's it. We're cranking away. Alrighty. You guys are quiet this morning, like really quiet. Giving me nothing. Nothing to talk about. Feature. All right. Well, Frank did give us something to talk about, and I appreciate him as always. Thank you to Frank for all of your production efforts on the show. Shout out and thank you to Josh for our theme music. Oh. So yesterday we talked about it being Sylvester Stallone's birthday. You know who else's birthday it was? The Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama turned 87 yesterday, if I'm remembering what I read correctly. And we're going to get in here. Jenny says, of course I'm quiet. I killed a bottle of wine last night, remember? Activated charcoal while you're drinking. Probably don't need more than 4 capsules. You will feel better than you have any right to. Gad's working. It's all good, guys. Okay, let's see if I remember how to do this. I went to bed early and I slept great, but I'm a little tired this morning. Myself. Oh. Come here. All right. So, Dalai Lama's birthday. Most Buddhist holidays are observed according to the lunar calendar. However, there are several exceptions. For example, Tibetan Buddhists celebrate the Dalai Lama's birthday on July 6th in the Gregorian calendar. Tibetan Buddhism is probably best known for its system of incarnate lamas, spiritual leaders. The Dalai Lama is believed to be the successor in the line of tulkus, reincarnations, who are believed to be incarnations of Avalokiteśvara, a bodhisattva embodying the compassion of all Buddhas. The current Dalai Lama is the 14th spiritual teacher of the Gelug school of Tibetan Buddhism. He was born Lhamo Thondup on July 1935 to a poor farming family. Pause for coffee. He, as the ninth of 16 children and one of 7 siblings to survive childhood. Lhamo Thondup was recognized as the reincarnation of the previous Dalai Lama in 1937 and enthroned as the Dalai Lama in 1940. When the army of the People's Republic of China entered Tibet, the Dalai Lama had to become a political leader at the age of 15 and was enthroned as the temporal ruler of Tibet. Following the 1959 Tibetan uprising, he fled to India and set up the government of Tibet in exile, the Central Tibetan Administration. The Dalai Lama used to be head of the government, but in 2011, the CTA officially became democratic, and the Dalai Lama resigned as a political leader. The Dalai Lama's birthday is celebrated by Tibetan Buddhists around the world. On this day, they pray for their spiritual leaders' health and longevity. I saw the Dalai Lama speak. I was in college. I had some friends, went to school in Massachusetts, who wanted to go to Central Park to see the Dalai Lama speak. And I said, yeah, let's do that. That sounds great. So we did that. There was a translator and I don't know, 10,000 people. It was insane. The audio setup was not very good. So I had a very hard time understanding the translator. But what I did not have a hard time understanding was how patient everyone was, how calm everyone was. It was a wonderful environment to be around. And the best anecdote I can offer, imagine 10,000 people and an inadequate number of portable toilets. You would imagine that people would be getting frustrated, angry, maybe trying to cut the line. None of that happened. People just waited calmly and quietly. And when it was their turn, they took their turn. And it was just it. There was no urgency to anything. And even though it's been over 20 years, I still remember that feeling. When I think about the Dalai Lama, this is what I think about. Toilets. There are a couple different kinds of Buddhism, and they're both rooted in, I shouldn't say rooted, I don't know enough about Buddhism to use words like that. There are 2 Buddhist monasteries in Vermont. And actually, I think this subject's come up before because I seem to remember Stacy mentioning the one on the border with New Hampshire. But there's another one 2 towns away, buried in the woods, and I've been there once. And it was really interesting because reincarnation being such a big deal in their practice, the I believe the title is Rinpoche of that monastery is believed to be the reincarnation of the current Dalai Lama's primary teacher. So the guy who taught the Dalai Lama died, came back. I'm not making any claims of this, just as what I was told that they believe. Died, came back, and at the time, this guy was in his late 20s and watching all of these old people just deferring to someone so young. It was really interesting to watch. Because imagine if martial arts rank was passed on that way. Instead of being passed on for experience and skill and time, whatever criteria we use, it was passed on because you were born to somebody. And if you don't know, these reincarnations are not family lineage. It's not that the Dalai Lama's child would necessarily become the Dalai Lama. There's a whole thing that they do to determine where that spirit went. Imagine if you're the head of some lineage and you pass away and you find out that, well, you don't, but your students do their thing to find out who the next instructor is, and it's somebody who doesn't train, and they're they're on the other side of the world, or 800 miles away or whatever, right? So now you got to get that person, you got to convince them to join, you got to teach them everything, and then you got to say, okay, now it's your turn to teach us. Actually be kind of an interesting concept for a martial arts movie. Somebody should write that film. I would watch that movie. I might even read that book. Stacy was at Karma Kolin, name of the place, multiple times over the years, including the Chogyam Trungpa's full 3-day funeral. My first singing bowl came from there. If anybody was at Free Training Day last year, you heard Stacy's singing bowl. Gad says, it's already being filmed in my head. Kind of a cool concept, right? Like, I don't know that anybody's done that. There are so few plots in martial arts films, right? You've got, you killed my master, now I'll take revenge on you. Somebody stole something and I have to get it back, including a person. Maybe it's a kidnapping, maybe it's an object. And you've got competitions. What else is there? Here's one. But where would the conflict be? There's got to be conflict in every story. The conflict. Oh, this might be a little too on the nose, but the conflict would be that there's a separate group of people who believe that this is a ridiculous idea, and one of them, probably a high rank, probably the highest, one of the highest rank, if not the highest rank, splinters off and takes roughly half of the students, and they train on their own, and there's agreement to a grand battle at the end between the reincarnated instructor and that person, but there's a time, like there's a time, but it can't be short, because they're going to grab him when he's a kid, or her, grab the child as a child. So it's got to be far enough out that there isn't constant pressure, maybe when they turn 18 or 20 or something like that, right? So you grab the kid at like 4 or 5, and you got 15 years to teach them. That's a long time, but it's also long enough that the kid gets to be a kid somewhat. Yeah. All right. We just came up with a core concept for a script. Somebody take it, run with it. I haven't seen that. Gad says Bulletproof Monk had a bit of that concept in it. Okay. Unrelated to our movie plot, Brian says I woke up with Renee on her early shift, rare, like 4:45 early, which is about an hour earlier than normal, and she invited me to come watch her open at work. First time I've seen that process in the 16 plus years she's worked there. Pretty cool to see part of what she does at the daycare. Nice. I think getting to know what people do, how people do, why people do, I think is really interesting. I don't know if I've shared this on the show, but one of the conversations that always comes up adjacent to what if you get rich, right? Like, I don't play the lottery because I believe in my own luck. But let's imagine I woke up tomorrow and had, a whole bunch of money. Obviously, whistlekick would be a tremendous benefactor and hire people and lots of great things would happen. But what would I do with my time in addition to that? Because I've long said I don't believe I'm the person to run whistlekick day to day. I'm the one to set strategy. I'm the one to be CEO, not COO. I want to try things. I want to try selling cars. I want to try, I don't know, I want to try being a farmer. I want to try everything. I want to learn as much as I can. I really enjoy developing skills and seeing how they interrelate and how things that I've learned make it easier to learn other things in the future. I tried to sign up for sailing lessons, and there's one section available, and it's mornings from like 8 to 11, Monday through Friday, one week. I have too many meetings. I'm not going to rearrange everybody. And I think it's at the end of this month, so it's too soon. So I'm not going to learn to sail this year, but maybe next year. Jenny says, Matt said he's seen Bulletproof Monk, but it was a while ago. It might have been on VHS. That is a while ago. And Stacy's suggesting if you've not watched it, watch Kundun. Visually stunning biopic of the current Dalai Lama from discovery as a child forward. That's cool. 87 years old. It's interesting to see the contrast. There's an organization or a hierarchy where being really old is valued. We tend to do that in martial arts as well. We do it often in political leadership. We don't do it culturally anymore. We used to. It was not that long ago in Western culture where grandparents essentially raised children and parents were working. Now, I'm not saying that's right, but I think there is something to be said for discounting the experience of the older generation. Why make the same mistakes? Why not learn as much as you can from those who came before, right? Which is more or less the translation of sensei that I like the most, one who came before. It's not necessarily about being better or smarter. It's about having seen things. I've talked about there's a woman named is Dara, lives in town, and was acquainted with her through some mutual friends. She turned 93 yesterday, 92. For her age, she's in amazing health. she did great until they insisted on giving her a pacemaker, which she's not my family. I can't tell her what to do. But it was pretty clear that they were grasping at straws trying to solve a problem, and they made things worse. But she is still as sharp as ever, an absolutely brilliant woman who's seen a lot of things. And we'll spend an hour or two on the phone together. And most of what I enjoy, and fortunately she enjoys this too, is I ask her about what she's seen and how that colors or tempers her perspective on things that are happening today. We talk, she's one of the few people that I talk a lot about politics and world events because I want to know how she sees things. But she's also open and nuanced. And I really appreciate that. She hasn't done what a lot of folks do as they get older and just, this is the way it's got to be. Trust me, I've seen things. No, and I've learned a lot from her, and I really appreciate that. And it's that same kind of interest that led to Martial Arts Radio. You know, I want to chronicle all of these people. And just a reminder, if you know people in the martial arts, especially if they're getting older, it's double, especially if their health is waning, let's get them on the show. To be direct about it, let me talk to them before they die, because I don't have the skill to talk to them after they die. Martial Arts Radio from Beyond the Grave. If anybody's ever listened to the Dead Authors podcast, which is hysterical and people involved in it are some of the best comedians alive, what if we did something like that? I feel like this idea has come up before. What if we did something like that? You know, somebody acts as Bruce Lee. That'd be fun. Gad says, on a bit of a sad note, the Chinese Communist Party have appointed a successor to the current Dalai Lama instead of respecting the Tibetan tradition. Well, I know that there's things are all messy over there because he's in exile, right? You know, he's not even in Tibet. So you've got the governmental leadership within Tibet, which is, you know, at least prompted by China. And then you've got more of the spiritual, religious leadership, which is in exile. Now, I might be wrong on that, but that's what I thought was going on with them. I can't wait. I look forward to the point in time when we can take ideas like this, like, hey, we came up with a fun idea for a martial arts movie, and we send it over to our script writing team, and then we cast it, and then we make it, and we release it. Not great movies. I'm talking like, you know, 70s era Shaw Brothers, like our own version of that. I want to do that. I want to do that in such a way with so many movies that basically anybody who wants to be in one has a chance at some point. They're not going to hit, probably not even going to hit Netflix. They're definitely not going to be in theaters. But to have those movies coming out, you know, one a month, how fun would that be? You know, you start watching instead of just because it's on or just because you like martial arts movies, but to see who you know that's in them. You're watching. Oh, that's so and so. Oh, there's okay, yeah. Oh, that was so fun. Did you see that? So they cast so and so as, you know, the old instructor. That would be the best. Hope we get to do that. Gad says, "Sign me up." I'm telling you, there's 100 acres over there I want to buy. We could without a doubt, put up a big steel building, and that could be the soundstage. We could film the whole thing in there. In order to take Whistlekick where it really needs to go, yes, this is a lot of money, but it's really not. It's about $5 million. To do all these things simultaneously and have the staff and running them, it's $5 million. So if anybody out there knows somebody who's got a whole bunch of money and they want to invest, point them my way. All right, everybody. I want to thank you for coming by. Thanks for joining me for another episode of First Cup. Thank you for indulging me as I wander and like let these ideas kind of percolate. It's a lot of fun. If you want to support us in all that we do, we've got a Patreon, which continues to grow, and that makes me very, very happy because it means we're reaching the right people and we're giving you good stuff and we're continuing to find cool things. Patreon.com/whistlekick. I don't know why I couldn't find where I'm supposed to go with that. Check out today's episode of Martial Arts Radio, where Andrew and I talk about something, episode 725. I don't remember what it is. If you want the whole list of all the ways you can help us, of course, we've got the family page. If you're watching this, you're probably family, whistlekick.com/family. We do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. If you haven't made an account on Twitch and followed us, please do. We're at like 46 followers. We need to get to 50. We're almost there. Okay. Any last comments? Yeah. All right, everyone. Take care. Be well. I'll see you back here tomorrow for Friday. Have a great Thursday. Peace.